All right, so today I have the author of the wonderful Ashen series, Demi Winters, here with me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat again.
Me too. I honestly am so excited because I feel like the last time we chatted, we could have had a 45-minute longer discussion than we had. So this is great. We're going to get to some questions that we were not able to get to last time, as well as a couple of questions about Demi's upcoming novel, Dawn of the North, book
Mhm.
3 in the Ashen series. And we are doing a little giveaway. So this is Demi's last physical arc of Dawn of the North. And we are going to be offering a giveaway for that book, in addition to some of the indie versions of Roots of Darkness. These are limited, these are exclusive because Roots of Darkness is no longer indie.
I have to show off the inside.
I absolutely beautiful. So Roots of Darkness is the novella that is Hecla's story, and it technically takes place during the end of Kingdom of Claw, correct?
Yeah. So it was actually supposed to go in Kingdom of Claw. The book was already like very long, and it just felt a little bit more like a side quest. And so I decided I also, after writing Kingdom of Claw, wanted to write something short because I was like, okay, these 700-page books are a lot of work. But the funny thing is that writing this little guy was it was a lot of work too, because I had to like write this, and then I had to write Dawn of the North because a lot of the stuff in the novella are setting up for Dawn of the North. So it ended up not being as simple as I was thinking. But yeah, so The Roots of Darkness is like optional reading, but I mean,
It's a
you
great
get to
story.
meet you get to meet Kritka, who's a talking squirrel.
I
And
love.
it's all in Hecla's point of view. So you get a lot of like feminine rage. And that's the first time we've gotten in Hecla's mind. So
Yeah, and I think it did offer like it set up. So for those of you who do not know, I was lucky enough to read a copy of Dawn of the North already, and Roots of Darkness is very important if you want kind of the full backstory about the origins of some of the chaos that is
it's
going
so hard
on.
to explain.
But I do want to explain the giveaway really quickly. So essentially what's going to happen is at some point during this video, we are going to give you a code word. And then you can use that code word to enter it into the Google form that I'm going to link in my bio for the first 48 hours after this video comes out. So if you're watching it within the first 48 hours, you're eligible to enter the giveaway, and make sure you enter that code. One person will be receiving the Dawn of the North arc, and then we are going to give out a few copies of Hecla's story.
We can mail them to anywhere in the US or Canada. Although Canada Post is on strike right now. So, like, come on, Canada Post, get this resolved. We're figuring out alternatives right now. But yeah.
Okay, so it is open to US and Canada once Canada gets everything figured out.
Yeah, come on, guys.
All right. I love it. I mean, I think people will understand because, yes,
Yeah.
some things are out of our control.
Mhm.
And we will be contacting the winner when it closes, the winners, as soon as it closes. So in the Google form, I will ask you to add your Instagram username, your name, and your email. So we will be able to contact you pretty much immediately. All right. So let's get into some of the content. And I have lots of questions for you, lots of questions that were submitted. And so the first thing I want to ask you is, do you have a timeline for the rest of the series being released? That was a very, very commonly asked question.
Okay, so the books take me, I can say this with a fair amount of confidence now, they take me about a year to write each one. So I think you can expect one book per year. So obviously, Dawn, like getting my own books confused, is coming out in February. So like the goal would be to release book four next February, and then the last book of February after that. Mm. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind on book four though. What happened is I got about 80% through the first draft, and then I had to leave it and go back and finish edits on book three. And that took a couple months. And so then it was really hard to get back in at 80%. So I just started from the beginning. So at some point, I'm going to hit a point where I haven't written anything.
And that's something I actually wanted to talk about is book three. I mean, clearly in books one and two, you're setting up a lot, but in book three, wow, a lot of different stories converge, a lot of different point of views converge to tell
Yeah.
this overall arc. So how do you, in your mind, keep track of it? What kind of note system do you use?
But yeah, no, book three was definitely a challenge. I'm not going to lie. Because there were basically three different storylines, three and a half really, that kind of had to like come together in a cohesive way. Because like in Kingdom of Claw, there were the two main storylines, and they really bounced off each other. Like something would happen in this storyline, and it would affect this storyline. So in Dawn of the North, I wasn't able to do that. To be really careful and really intentional about the purpose of each chapter, and like I don't, every time you switch point of views, it's a bit jarring. So it was important to be like make sure that every chapter really contributed to the story.
Okay, no, honestly, that does make a lot of sense to me. And I think one thing that I have been wondering is how you just manage your day to day as a right. What does that look like? Do you spend so many hours writing, so many hours in meetings, so many hours promoting? How do you choose how much time to allocate to each one, each activity?
Oh, I've been self-employed for almost 10 years. And when I first became employed, I was like floundering. I didn't know how to set up my day. And like without having those like mandatory, like when I before I was doing grad school. So like my day was pretty structured there. And then so I learned that I work best when I have a routine. So I start my day, I get my kids out the door, and then I do TikTok, which is honestly kind of just like fun for me, but also promoting the book. And then I get into my email, which can be a short or a long thing. I really try to get it all done on Mondays, like all the really big things, and then the rest of the week is hopefully just like replying to things. However, yesterday I literally spent my entire day on email.
I mean, it's
It's
refreshing to
the
hear that you felt like you were floundering at the beginning of being self-employed because I have felt that a lot.
Yeah. You just
Uh,
like I think it's all about experimenting and trying things and like finding what fits you.
For sure. Okay. So I don't know if you have a similar experience. Do you work from home? Is this, or do you
Yep.
usually work at a cafe or?
I body. I like to work from home. My bedroom is literally on the other side of that wall.
Yep.
Actually, I know one of your questions was about food blogging. So I actually had like an entire studio for my food blog, but I cannot write there for whatever reason. It messes up my mind. So I've tried having like the separation of home and work. What works for me is setting kind of like hours where at the end of the day, it's like, of course, there's always the temptation of going back and doing some work, but I'm getting better at like shutting the door and going to do something for me.
One thing I've also discovered about myself is because I'm very much a hobbyist, very much a crafter. And if I ever leave a hobby or a craft out on the table that I work on,
Oh,
or even in the living room, my day is
it's like,
gone.
yeah.
I
Okay, so
will not, because the first
I've
thing I
gotten
will
into
do.
puzzling lately, and if I see the puzzle, I'm like, I'll just go get like 10 pieces and then it's half an hour is gone. Yeah, I feel you.
Literally, I'm not kidding. I have a puzzle on the coffee table right now, and I was doing it before this call, and I said, do not get the puzzle out. Do not let yourself do it because then
Is it
my
calling
entire
to
day
you?
will. go to puzzling, but I'm going to. I've already decided the day is gone after this, because I need to do my puzzle. It's a
So
gourd puzzle.
soothing.
It
It's a
is.
oh well, yeah, you're getting in the fall season spirit. Like
Exactly. Exactly. No, and okay, puzzles are the hardest of all because you can't really put it away. Like I can't put it in the
no.
other room. So I just cover it
Mhm.
and hope that my brain will forget it's
Throw a
there.
blanket over it.
Yes,
It's so
literally.
funny. Oh
Um,
my gosh.
but okay, so you talked a little bit about food blogging in the past, and I am wondering, did you always see yourself as a writer, potentially a fantasy writer, a fiction writer? Okay, so talk about that kind of journey, that arc.
Now, first of all, I want to say that this myth of people going to university, getting a degree, and then that leading into a job that you have for the rest of your life, that is just, that doesn't excite me personally. And I don't think it's realistic in this day and age. It's hard to get into so many fields. It's a lot about who you know and this whole concept of like deciding what you want to be when you're like 18 and you have zero life experience, it's crazy to me. Like, so I did write stories when I was a kid, but it was very much for fun. And I kind of just, I lost that side of things as I got into the upper levels of high school and everything became a lot more, I just had a lot more homework. Academics were a lot. And I guess reading kind of felt like more academics to me, unfortunately. And I kind of wonder if it's like the books that we had in English, like Shakespearean plays that we had to review and The Great Gatsby. And maybe I'm not trying to talk down on the classics, but like they do leave a little to be desired. Like they don't make you excited necessarily to read. Um, so I definitely fell out of reading and writing. I went into university. I was big into science. I actually have a PhD. So for a long time, I was like, I want to be a research scientist. I never wanted my own lab, which meant I wasn't going to continue in academics. I wasn't going to do a postdoctoral fellowship and then all that stuff. I wanted to go into industry. But there was like, it's really hard to break into industry, which is basically like private companies that do like biotechnology research and all that stuff. It's hard to get into that. And in the meantime, I was just really losing my passion for science. It just happens. I feel like when you're a new grad student and you meet like the grad student who's been there for 5 years, they seem so cynical and you don't get it until you reach that point and you're like, okay. And so, in the meantime, I had a baby and all my perspective was changing. I was like, I don't want to work 60-hour work weeks and I was watching my supervisor go through a divorce and because they were both working so much and I was just like, I don't want this work lifestyle for myself. And I had this hobby blog that was my little creative outlet. I feel like I'm giving you the very long version of this,
I love
but this
it.
is
I
like,
love it.
no, I definitely did not consider myself a writer. So the next phase was I decided to try to really build this food blog up as, a source of income. There was a lot of blogs out there doing it at the time. And so I just kind of followed their game plan and I hustled a lot. The whole side hustle thing, that was my life for a long time. And I was lucky that I was able to finish. I got my PhD and then like I basically started full-time food blogging after that, which I
I love
definitely
it.
had some guilt about that, going to school for that long. My parents thought I was crazy. And I had a lot of guilt about like letting my supervisor down and stuff. But gradually I worked through it and the food blog became like, successful enough that my husband was able to quit his job. And, they say that you should seek out the things you enjoyed as a child when you're an adult. So I decided to give it a try and then I like got completely obsessed with it and there was no turning back after that. So I was able to sell my old food blog to a friend who has kept it going. And now I'm a full-time writer, which is kind of crazy.
Oh my gosh. I feel okay. That is such a fascinating journey. Do you mind sharing where you got your PhD?
Yeah, sure. At University of Calgary,
Okay.
I was doing cancer research. Like it was this pretty like prestigious like research stuff. And then I started food blogging and now I write Viking romantasy. But you know what? You just have to like keep your mind open and pivot and follow what your heart is telling you to do. And
Yeah.
for me, it has never served me wrong. So,
All right, let's do some of these either or questions.
okay,
So, or not either or, what's that called? What is
this
there's
or
a
that.
this or that. Yes. Okay. Ray or Cass?
Oh, you can't make me choose. They're like polar opposites. I mean, okay, someone do like marry, kiss, kill. And
Yes.
it was like kiss Cass and marry Ray because like he's very stable. He would be like he'd be your rock. He'd be very predictable, but always showing up for you. But Cass is, he's going to keep you on your toes. So, I mean, I think that's why he works well with someone like Saga, who's very regimented. She needs someone to shake her up a little bit.
Yeah, no, Dawn of the North, I absolutely loved Cass, and I love his dedication to Saga. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think Cass sees in Saga from the
I
get-go?
think to me at first, it was like he was very curious. Like he's a very curious, kind of like the kind of person who touches something that you say don't touch, he'll touch it. And so I think at first he was really intrigued, and then there was some attraction, and then he was like, you know, getting to understand her entire situation in the castle and being like, no, I can't leave her here. Like, this is major spoilers for, for Kingdom of Claw. But yeah, he then it became a thing where he's like, he has a very strong belief of right and wrong. And he was like, I cannot leave her here. And so that's his belief of I'm doing the right thing, even if he didn't ask her for her opinion on anything. And so I think the more that he kind of unlocks from her, because she's very closed off, the more that he can pull out of her, the more he likes her. So
I see it. I see it 100%. That is something, and I love the description of him being that person who's going to press the button. Even if you say, don't press the button, he's like,
he
"But
is.
I have to see
Yeah.
what'll
And I
happen."
now have to know what happens. Yeah, exactly. He's very like first think later.
Yeah.
And also I think he sees a bit of himself in her in that she does not always have control over her body's reaction, which is something that we get to learn a little bit more about Cass in Dawn of the North, just that other side of him, how he's not always in control.
So the code for the arc or the copy of Roots of Darkness, or potentially both, if you happen to be that one lucky person who gets both, if you want both, is Rib Smasher. Two words, one word. As long as you just have Rib Smasher, you're going to enter that term in the Google form that is in my Instagram bio. It'll also be in my YouTube bio because I'm just going to stick it in my link tree. So it'll be in both my YouTube and my Instagram bios. Demi, will you put it in yours? It's okay if not. I
Mhm.
just,
Yep.
okay. So for 48 hours, it'll be there. At the end of 48 hours, we're going to take it out and we will contact the winners. And then we will share on our stories once the winners have been announced and contacted. All right. So back to the really, really difficult question. Scylla or Saga? You have to choose one. You have to.
I have to pick Scylla. I just have spent, I've known her the longest, if that makes sense. Like, basically, Saga was always in the plan, but I didn't know her. Her character took a little bit longer to kind of get to know. I think maybe I wish I was more like Scylla because I think, well, first of all, I'm not a morning person. And I'm not always sunshine and rainbows. It would be kind of nice to be like, oh, look, the gods left me a sign. That means everything is going to be okay. Um, but yeah, no, I think Scylla.
We're a little bit more Rainier in that in that
Yeah.
sense. Oh my goodness.
Be prepared for everything that could go wrong.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. That's I see that. Personally for me, when a character is introduced at the beginning and then another character comes up, it is very hard for me. Like, I will still admire and appreciate that character, but I definitely feel like a certain connection to the first one when it's a multiple
Yeah,
POV type of book.
for
And I
sure.
find myself that way with virtually every series I read. I just develop this
Mhm.
connection with that first reader because I feel like you get
Yeah.
introduced to the world through their eyes. There was one thing I wanted to ask, and I'm not going to spoil it. This is so the people who may have read Dawn of the North might know what I'm referring to. But there's like a Grim Wolf at the beginning of the first book. Was that
Yeah.
always your plan, or did that Grim Wolf just, when you were writing the first book, did you know the significance of that Grim Wolf?
So actually, when I first wrote it, I did not know. Then, but before the book was released, I knew.
Okay.
So it was like, because I actually wrote The Road of Bones with no plan for the series. And then I went back in after because it was clearly the start of something. And so then I had to go and plot the whole, like, I wanted each book to have its own conflict that gets resolved, but then also building into like an overarching like conflict that will obviously start happening in books 4 and 5.
I love it.
So anyway, I wrote the Grimwolf scene and I was like, this is interesting. Like I don't know who this Grimwolf is. And then I figured it out for the book release. So yeah, I was happy. I was happy about that little tie-in.
I was so shocked in such a good way. I was like, "Whoa!" Um, so yeah, no, that was really cool. Okay, let me pull up a few more questions that people asked. So, oh. Redemption arc possibility for a certain character from book one. What do you
It
see
would
happening?
I cannot confirm or deny, but I think for Dawn of the North, you might have an inkling. You might have an
Okay.
inkling, like a
I
hint of an inkling.
I was so into his that character in Dawn of the North. I was like,
Oh,
whoa,
good,
what is
good.
happening? It just felt so like against the status, against what was supposed to happen, and I was there for it. I was surprised myself how much I was into that.
I'm glad you liked it because I feel like anyone who gets to that point of view is like, oh, but I promise it's going somewhere. Like actually, out of everybody, all the characters, that storyline is the most clear in my head. I'm very excited for things that are happening in book 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So
excited too. I need to know. All right. Will the entire five-book series revolve mostly around Scylla and Saga?
yes, it will. The only thing is like in terms of romance, like there, certain couples are pretty steady at this point. And so I would expect there not to be as much, development in that area. That's not to say that they won't have their own like unique storylines and things always happening in like major parts in the series. But I think romance wise, we're kind of shifting to other couples, if that makes sense. Um, without spoiling too much. So Hecla gets her own point of views and she has her own romance arc happening. And then obviously Saga as well. My goal is like, in Throne of Glass, something was always happening romance wise. That's kind of my goal with this is there'll always be something going on.
I love it. I love it. No,
Because,
that
like
definitely
once they get together, it can kind of get like boring. And so if they have like other couples to root for, I find that more fun.
same. 100% I agree. And you might even find yourself rooting for some questionable characters, which I mean,
maybe.
that is why I like fantasy, right? You
Hmm.
get the ability to explore or root for people you would not necessarily root for in real life, and the stakes are not as high.
So true.
I love your response too, when you're just like, maybe that.
It's so hard to. Oh, yeah. Okay. One thing about me is that I'm really bad at keeping secrets, and I want to tell everybody everything all the time. So it's really hard for me not to spill everything.
I get it. I literally am that person who, I kid you not, I get somebody a present and I'm like, okay, can I give it to you right now? And it's
Yes,
their
same.
birthday 2 weeks out, and I'm like, no, but I have to tell you. That's me with my boyfriend. I already told him what I'm getting him for Christmas. I was He's like, can you not? I was like, I have to. I thought of it and it's perfect. So, yeah. Yeah. I
No,
just,
I'm the same. It's like it's burning a hole in your pocket. Like when you got money you want to spend, it's like the secret. That's what it is for me.
how can you withhold the
It's
joy
so hard,
of something that, like, you're gonna
right?
be sharing? Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. And as soon as I know it, I'm like, why would I not want to tell everybody? So, yeah, I can only imagine. It's tough. It's
And
tough.
the other thing is like things happening behind the scenes in publishing, and you have to keep those secrets for like sometimes people can't announce their book deals for a whole year. I was lucky because mine was a month or something, but no, the other stuff going on. There are things happening that will be announced this fall that I want to tell everybody right now. I did tell some people at Books, Gowns, and Crowns. So
Ah,
I can't
I love
not.
it. I love it.
Uh,
I know. I get it. I get it. Like there certain things like that happen too. I mean, from like food blogging, and you'll get somebody will reach out who you're so excited and you're like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, I want to
yes.
tell everybody, but I can't. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I get it. What about your favorite character that we have not met yet?
Well, I don't think there's too many characters that you haven't met at the end of Dawn of the North, but there are some new characters in Dawn of the North. So you get to know Cass's family. Um, I enjoyed writing his sister and Rovgalad. They had like a fun dynamic. And there's a horse, but he's a bit of a murdery creature. He's just he's a good he's just violent by nature, but we love him.
Yes. Yes, we
So
do.
yeah, him and there's like a whole community. I don't want to spoil it, but like there's more than one winged horse, and there are people that ride them, and you're going to meet them as well. Um, but yeah, and if you haven't read Roots of Darkness, then you get to meet Kritka, who is a talking squirrel, and he's going to have more of a major role in Dawn of the North. He likes to give Hecla dating advice, and he annoys the crap out of her. He sits on her shoulder and like is trying to fatten up for the winter, and she's like, "Can you choose somewhere else?"
The dating advice had me laughing so hard.
Oh,
Like
good.
the way he was, yes.
Talking about the mating strut, which is
Yes.
it's not a real squirrel thing. I actually like watched videos on squirrel like mating behavior.
I love it. That's
But
research.
yeah, and they just chase each other around. It's a little rough, honestly. So wouldn't take squirrel love advice, that's for sure.
All right. Oh, BookCon. Any chance you're going to be at BookCon?
Oh my gosh, so I really hope so. And it's like coinciding pretty close to the after the release of Dawn of the North. So my publisher sends people who are actively promoting books. So I wrote my editor. I was like, "Dear Shauna, here are the reasons you should send me to BookCon." And so they've submitted my name, but now it's in like the BookCon People's Court.
Okay. I'm going to
So
BookCon.
like I want to go to BookCon. I've never been to New York City, which is
Me
like,
neither.
oh my gosh. Yes, and
Okay.
like there's going to be so many different authors of different genres in this and in it. It would be so cool to go. But, you know,
I am going to like contact BookCon. I'm going to be like, by the way, here are 5 more reasons you should have Demi Winters at BookCon.
That's so nice. Well, so actually they approved me for Indie Alley, and then but because when I applied, I still had this one self-published, and then I emailed them back and I was like, well, the book got picked up by Penguin now, so I can't even like really sell it. So yeah, and so I told them that I got my name submitted for their panel, and like, okay, well, we expect that we have more applicants than aces, so I don't know. We'll see. Fingers
Okay.
crossed.
Fingers crossed. That would be awesome.
Feel
All
that.
right. Let's do one more question. What book or books are you reading right now? What's been inspiring you lately?
Okay, so I read everything. Right now. So last night I finished Margot's Got Money Trouble. It was so sweet. I love this book. I had no idea what it was about. It's about a girl who she becomes a single mother and she starts an OnlyFans account. And I was like, I had no idea, but it's so charming. And her like former WWF like pro wrestler dad like moves in with her and they're getting to know each other as she's like to navigate life. I loved it. I'm also reading on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Chain Gang All Stars, which is absolutely brutal. It's like Gladiator slash Hunger Games, but in the prison system. Ooh, I'm like bracing myself for the end because everybody that I see who's finished it, they have like tears streaming down their face.
Okay, it's one of those.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then the other book I'm reading right now is Fallen Stars by Amani Iriu. It's the sequel to Heavenly Bodies, and I get to blurb it, so I'm really excited. It's very good.
Ooh, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
so cool. So you read a lot of books at the same time.
Oh yeah, I'm a multitasker. I can only do like an hour on a book. I do all audiobook for the most part. I do an hour at a time on one story, and then I'm like, I need something different. And then I sometimes I'll just cycle through them in an evening, like multiple times.
I do that too.
Yeah.
I like will read multiple books and
hmm
sometimes I'll listen to 30 minutes of one book and then I'll pick up another book, read one chapter and then
It's like, especially if you're just getting into like maybe the first third of a book, I find like if I just make myself do like two chapters at a time, it's easier to get through. Like, there's always going to be a certain amount of setup.
that's exactly how I do it. Like the beginning of the book, especially when it's high
Yeah.
fantasy, I take a
Yeah.
long time, but then once I'm halfway through, I can finish the
Then it's like,
entire book like in one. Yeah. This was a great conversation. I feel like I learned a lot. So again,
thank you for having me.
just got the pop up about our meeting ending. Thank you for joining me. I don't know, I have such a good time getting to learn about your writing process and hearing about the books because, yeah, one of my all-time favorite series. So,
Oh, thank you so much. And if anyone has more questions, feel free to join our Discord group. There's like, it's pretty active and I'm in there all the time answering questions. So it's in my link tree.
yeah, the Discord group is definitely active, and I noticed that you respond a lot, which is really cool. You definitely want to have that connection with your readers, which I think is a great thing.
It's nice when I'm going to an event and I can like link up with readers that way. And it's a little bit like comfort for me knowing that people are actually going to be there. But also, I think it's comforting for readers to know like I'll be looking for them and I'll
Look at like yes, such homebody introverted things.
I know, right? Yeah, no, and you know what's funny is before this year, I hadn't left Vancouver Island since we moved here. So that was like 5 years I didn't leave the island. And then this year I've been to like different events or something. I don't know. I guess I just made up for 5 years of not traveling in one year.
No, that's good. That's amazing. I feel like COVID definitely made traveling hard for a lot of people. Like I know for myself, like it has made traveling and even yeah, very difficult just because
Yeah,
the fear of germs, like for me. But definitely I think it made it feel less accessible for a lot of people still to this day, even if it's
yeah.
not as much of a concern. But yeah.
No. Yeah. The good thing though is that I feel like it normalized wearing masks.
Yeah.
Like people, I wouldn't hesitate to wear a mask if I was sick or immunocompromised. But I feel like there was a bit more judgment before. It could be different in the US. I know it's a contentious issue, but never felt like gawked at for wearing a mask.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea. Like, I personally love, love, love the idea of if you're sick, wear a mask. Like, it's just a nice thing to do for other people. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope
Thank you
you
for
have
having me.
a great rest of your day. And I'm very, very excited to see where your next book goes. Cannot wait to
I'll
see
tell
about
you,
this one character.
characters. This Book 4 has been so fun to write. It's like all these things I had planned, I finally get to write them. So yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I can't wait to share book 3 with everyone. Book 4.
Oh, true. Book three isn't even out. Like, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that to release, but then I'm excited to see about that one couple potential.
Yeah.
All
Well, thank
right.
you so much for having me. Go have fun with your puzzle.
I literally, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm literally gonna go order DoorDash and then puzzle.
That sounds like a great plan for a Tuesday afternoon.
Yes. All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.